Hello, Homilitics 1 colleagues. This is Sylvia Hayes. Today I am going to be working with scriptures from 1 John and also from Genesis. And I'll be reading from the New Revised Standard Version Holy Bible. The reason that these are resonating with me right now is because we're in such an historic time with this pandemic, which has our world in upheaval and disruption, to be sure. And it's also a priceless gift because it's giving us a time out to reassess a world that is really unhealthy. And in this time, as we move through this pandemic, and we're going to come out one way or another into a new normal, and I believe that New Thought practitioners and New Thought teaching has a really important role to play. We have an opportunity to shine a light on the truth that we don't just need to restart economies and restart society, we need to fundamentally reset them. And so I find it powerful to consider John's words in 1 John 4:4, where he says, "The one in you is greater than the one who is in the world." In this context, I don't believe the world is synonymous with the planet, with Earth. I think here the world is referring to the human-made constructs, the beliefs, the value system that we have created and that we are now navigating. And in fact, A Course in Miracles calls that world false perception seen through eyes of fear. John assures us that the power in us is greater than the power in that world. In fact, this pandemic is showing just how fragile that worldly way of being is. COVID-19 didn't break the economy or societies. It merely is showing us where systems were already failing or on the brink of failure. It should serve as an existential wake-up call that the beneficiary of this whole thing right now is the planet. Air and water pollution are down ginormously. Global warming emissions are down at an unprecedented rate. Wildlife is moving into places where it had been pushed out of. Because our world economy is based on the cult of consumerism, the forced slowdown is basically a ceasefire toward our own planet. The power within is greater than the power moving in that world, and herein lies an opportunity. This all got me thinking about the dominion scripture in Genesis, which I will read to you. It is Genesis 1:26. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." I can't tell you how many times as a kid I would ask, now why is it that it's okay to treat animals so poorly, and why is it okay to rip up nature to put in another parking lot? And someone from my adult, mostly Christian community would say, well, it's because in the order of things, humans have dominion over all other creatures. It's one of the biggest things that turned me off the Bible, to tell you the truth. And I can't tell you how electrifying it was to discover Unity's metaphysical approach to Scripture. Because the metaphysical approach to that Genesis 1:26 Scripture that I just read is that dominion is an inner consciousness obtained through mind discipline. Fish of the sea represent the teeming ideas in our minds. Birds represent aspiring thoughts, etc., etc. So basically it is saying, taken metaphysically, that God created humans and then charged us with learning how to master our own minds. That was just for me, that reopened me to the Bible and the possibility of really, really enjoying and getting something out of the Bible. In this extraordinary moment, we are being shown, like never before, that the Western worldview of dominion is not serving us. Just before the John 1:4 verse where he says the power in us is greater than the power in the world, he's warning us to be wary of false prophets. because they're alive in the world. Well, right now, as our planet is taking a sigh of relief, we're being showed that the false emperor of consumerism literally isn't wearing any clothes. The real power is in the source, in the Christ consciousness that dwells within each of us. It's not out there in worldly acquisition. The power of awakened consciousness is greater than the worldly illusion or appearances. This power holds the means not just to restart, but to fundamentally reset the trajectory of our species and therefore the planet. And I am delighted to be on this journey with all of you this term.